with 180 being sworn officers. Hired by the Elgin Police Department in 1992, Chief Swoboda spent his early years as a police officer assigned to the city's Residence Officer Program, where he lived and worked in one of Elgin's highest crime areas. He has held various assignments from patrol to accreditation manager to leading Elgin's gang and drug units. While serving as deputy chief, he has led each of the 3 bureaus: investigations, operations, and support. Chief Swoboda has a Bachelor in Criminal Justice from Aurora University and a Master of Arts in Administration of Law Enforcement from Western Illinois University. Chief Swoboda is also a graduate of the FBI's National Academy and Northwestern's Staff and Command. Please join me in welcoming Chief Jeffrey Swoboda.
You know, no matter how short you try to make those bios, they seem like forever when they're reading about you. It's like you can't make them any shorter. I gotta admit as well that when I was told I was being introduced today, I was told I was being introduced by Tom Brady. I was pretty excited. And once I got here, no offense, but I was a little let down, Mr. Brady. I was really hoping I'd meet the Tom Brady. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished faculty, administrators, friends and family, and of course the graduates of Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, hello, and thank you for allowing me this opportunity to be among the first to congratulate you on this important day. Being here amongst the state's finest new police officers, their friends and families, and representatives from their departments is truly a pleasure. You know, it was more than 20 years ago today that I sat in a very similar chair, had that same excited look in my eye, and couldn't wait to get out there and start doing the job that I felt I'd been preparing years to do. I know you all feel the same way. But before I speak directly to the officers, I want to take a moment to recognize their families. I want to applaud each of you for the support that you have no doubt given to these officers. To all the family and friends, please don't underestimate the importance and the power of your presence here today. I promise you it means a lot to these officers. I hope that you realize that without your support, today may never have been possible. But I also know that there are loved ones who, for a variety of reasons, can't be here today. Whether it's death or distance being the reason, many times people who impact our lives can't be with us on days like today when big goals are achieved. So I believe it's fitting to have a moment of silence to honor and thank all of those who helped us on our journey but aren't here to celebrate with us today. If we could have a moment of silence for them. All right, family and friends, while your supporting role helped these officers get here today, I hope you know that your supporting role is not over. In fact, it really is just beginning. These officers, like the ones out patrolling the streets as I speak today, are expected to do the impossible. For example, they'll be expected to stop crime before it happens. When they fail at that, they'll be expected to solve the crime as quickly as they do on CSI. I mean, they can do it on TV, why can't you guys do it? I mean, they'll be put in positions where there'll be social workers, marriage counselors, advisors, and teachers. They'll be expected to solve problems in a matter of minutes that have taken years to develop. Not to mention they'll be expected to do it in all various weather conditions, poor lighting, and maybe when they themselves are having a bad day. Yes, the profession is a difficult one, both emotionally and physically, and that is why these officers will need your support. You see, even the people who society rely on for assistance sometimes need a little help themselves. Now to the officers. I know you're all well aware of the challenges this profession brings, and I know you're also very comfortable with it. After all, if you wanted to be in a profession where every day you showed up for work and on every call people loved and adored you, you would have joined the fire department, right? Right. So while this is a dangerous and difficult job, one in which men and women die in the line of duty every year, there is not a more rewarding profession. You know, those who step up and want to be police officers are really saying that when people's lives are turned upside down, when somebody needs some help, I want them to call me. What a way to spend your years on this planet. Helping those who are hurt, serving others. What a way to spend your years. You know, and although your career is just beginning, I want you to each think about your last day as a police officer. How do you want to leave your police department? I know it's a strange question on one of your first days as a police officer, but it's an important question to ask. Because how you leave your department really does depend on you and the manner in which you conduct yourself from here on out, both on and off duty. As chief of police, I've witnessed officers leaving in a variety of ways. I've hosted retirement ceremonies for officers who spent 20, 25, 30 years of service to their community. When they were ready to leave and retire, they were surrounded by their friends and family. Their spouse was there who was probably crying. Their kids were there, so proud of their mom or dad. Community members were there. Politicians were there. We'd have to have the ceremony in a ballroom because we needed the space for the number of well-wishers that wanted to be there. But I've also had to escort shamed officers out of the police department as they carried what few belongings they had in a box. Rather than leave their career surrounded by friends and family, they left embarrassed with a box in their hands. And the one commonality between the officer in the ballroom and the officer with the box in their hands is they both sat in the same chair as you all sit today. They both had the goal of being great police officers, making their friends and family and the community that's so proud of them. The difference is one got lost on their journey. You see, one always recognized that the trust of the community is sacred and needs to be protected, that the badge on my chest means something. It means something bigger than who I am. That as a police officer, I do represent all that is good in our society. The officer with the box in their hands thought that the ends could justify the means and that corners could be cut. Again, how you retire is up to you. And when dealing with issues like trust and integrity, as Mr. Brady said, there truly are no second chances. You know, after most retirements, there'd be some sort of gathering as well. At these gatherings, retired members would attend, and there'd generally be stories that were told. And as I listened to the stories of retired officers, I always noticed that there were two common themes. The first one is that this job is and has always been about working with people. You know, technology can make us more efficient, but it will never make us better communicators. In fact, in many ways, it'll make us worse communicators. Always work on being a better communicator. And that's not just the words you say, it's how you say them. It's your tone, it's your stance, it's the eye contact, it's if you're listening. You know, John Maxwell said, people hear your words, but they feel your attitude. Every one of us should have a goal of being a better communicator tomorrow than we are today. You know, the second thing I noticed when talking with retired members was the distinct difference between those officers that left the job with a sense of pride, knowing that they accomplished something, that they had a purpose, they were content, they had no regrets in their career. And then there were those officers that left their career maybe wishing they had done a little bit more. I could sense it in the way they explained their career and why maybe they would blame a boss for certain things of their career or why they never got promoted. They would always have excuses. Have a goal right now that you are going to leave this career giving it your all. Always remember that just as in life, the number of tomorrows that you're going to be able to be a police officer is finite. Every day you put on that uniform, know that the term Addison's finest, Elgin's finest, Skokie's finest is something you must prove every day. Vow to make a difference every day you go out there to say, I'm going to make a difference here. Every single day. Ask yourself the question, if not me, who? If I'm not going to do it, who's going to do it? And if I'm not going to do it now, when am I going to do it? And when you come across somebody who needs some help, it's real easy. All you need to do is help them. If you vow to do that, you will make your career a very meaningful career. And also remember that although the calls you go on may not make national news, they will still be horrific and terrifying for those involved. When you tell a parent that their son or their daughter has left this world, they will be shattered. They will remember every word you say. They will remember how you made them feel. They will remember the look on your face. Know that that will be with them forever. And although the traffic crash you just got sent to is the 10th call of the day, know that it's probably the one time that the people involved in the crash are going to interact with law enforcement. And they're scared. They have questions. They might have questions that seem very simple, but they don't understand what's going on. They're a little confused. Be the officer and keep the attitude that I know you have today, that you want to be the person that when somebody needs help, you want them to call you. Be the professional, helpful police officer I know you all aspire to be. You know, lastly, work to become the complete police officer. I see far too often that officers allow themselves to be categorized. They become the SWAT officer who's the best shot in the department, and they can take apart the AR-15 blindfolded and put it right back together. Or they become the community officer who goes to every neighborhood meeting. They go to the school functions. They're always representing the police department that way. And I ask you, which one do you want to be? And hopefully you don't answer that question because it's a false choice. You really can and should work to do both. Be the complete police officer. I'm always so impressed by the officer who's the first one to go to the hot call, the one who enjoys getting in a great foot chase, but then doesn't forget to stop by the Boys and Girls Club to mentor a kid who maybe is looking for a role model. Stop by the Senior Service Center. Have a cup of coffee with the seniors. Let them know they're not forgotten, and if they need help, they can call you. They can call the police, but they can also call you. That's why you're there. You know, in closing, I truly do believe that police officers in many ways are the glue that keeps this country together. That when policing is done right, in conjunction with the community that they serve, our country gets stronger. And it's with the professional police officers serving and protecting their communities that we will continue to be a strong country. It will be the professional police officer that stands shoulder to shoulder with their community, making homes, streets, and schools safer. And if we were told right now that somebody needed help on the other side of the campus, every police officer would take off running to help them if they needed it. You see, when bullets start flying and people are in need of help, it's the cop that runs towards the danger. Whether that person needing the help loves the police or despises the police, they call the police when they need help, and we show up every time. You see, that's what we do. It's why I love this profession, and that's why I love people who step up and say, I want to be a police officer. So get fired up, get involved in your community, make your department, your community, and your profession proud. And make sure when you leave this career, you are surrounded by your friends and your family, and you are standing in that ballroom. May God bless each of you and the communities you serve, and thank you for allowing me to say a few words today.